What if the mansion your father built with his own hands became his prison? What if his own blood, the brothers he trusted most, struck a secret pact with the river gods to erase him? And what if the only person brave enough to save him was the daughter they tried to forget? This is not just a story. This is a battle between love and greed, between blood and water. This is the folk tale of the girl who challenged crocodiles and won. In the village of Umuide, where the rivers hissed secrets and crocodiles were older than time, a man named Okonkwo returned home. He had lived for 25 harvests in the land of the eagles, a realm of metal towers and snow-breathing machines. There he had gathered riches with his hands and wisdom with his scars. When he came back, he did not come empty. He came bearing the blueprints of mansions, the scent of foreign cities, and a heart swollen with the desire to rest. Okonkwo built a house that touched the sky, white as moon milk, crowned with golden tiles that sang when it rained. He called it Obi Udo, House of Peace. The elders marveled. The children sang. But his brothers, Ijike and Medu, crouched behind smiles. They saw not peace but power. They saw not family but fortune. When Okonkwo had a stroke one morning after prayers, the village mourned. But Ijike only whispered, "Now." That night they went to the river Edom. Clothed in red wrappers and goat blood, they summoned the crocodiles. From beneath the water came the spirit known only as Walla, the ancient guardian of the river. She rose with golden eyes and a necklace of baby skulls. "Why have you disturbed my rest?" she hissed. Ijike knelt. "Great One, our brother stands in our way. Let him sleep and give us the keys to his house, his gold, his land." Medu offered a chicken soaked in his own blood. "We shall build you a shrine beside his grave." Wallace smiled. "A house taken by deceit shall breed only decay. But if you offer something of equal blood, I will grant you time." They did not hesitate. They offered her Okonkwo's dreams. They buried his journals, burned his photos, erased his name from the family ledger. She accepted. Okonkwo lived, but barely. A ghost of himself, he was locked inside Obi Udo like a prisoner inside a golden tomb. Ijike and Medu said he was resting. They pocketed his pension, used his name to build another house beside his. A house they named Obio Thi, Flood's Favor. They said it was to honor him. But the crocodiles knew better. Far across the sea, in a city of bridges and snow, Funaná, Okonkwo's only child, woke from a dream. She had seen her father standing ankle-deep in black water, his voice trapped in a bottle, calling her name without sound. He called her uncle. "Uncle Ijike, I haven't heard from Papa. Is he okay? What happened to him? Tell me please." He laughed. "My daughter, your father is sleeping. He is an old man. Let him rest." He called her aunt. "Auntie Amaka, please, what is happening? Why do you worry? He's fine. Send some money if you can. His medicine is expensive." So she sent money. Month after month. 5,000 became 7,000. Then 10,000. Until one day her spirit refused to be silent. She bought a ticket. Left her husband. Took only her passport and the photograph of her father in front of Obi Udo. When she arrived at Umuide, the sky was purple with grief. She knocked on the gate of her father's mansion. A woman with red lipstick and a cane in her hand stepped out. "Who are you?" the woman barked. "I am Funaná, daughter of Okonkwo." "Liar. Prostitute. You slept your way through the city and came to claim what is not yours." Behind the gate, her uncle appeared. "Shameless girl. You left your father to rot. Now you want to carry his corpse to your land of eagles." She wept. Not out of weakness but memory. Her father had once told her, "If I forget who I am, let my blood remember." She turned to the villagers gathering around. "Does no one remember my father's voice? The man who built your borehole? The man who buried your dead for free?" The old palm wine tapper Papa Chijiok nodded. "We remember. But something foul sleeps in that house. We fear the river's shadow." Funaná dropped to her knees. She poured the last of her foreign perfume into the earth. "Spirits of Umuide, guide me." That night she waited. And the crocodiles came. The villagers whispered of Obi Udo. They said it once glowed like a lantern on the hill, but now, it devoured sunlight. Birds refused to nest on its roof. Goats ran from its shadow. Children dared not play near it. That morning, Funaná returned to the gate. A thin boy with wide eyes and a stammer approached her with trembling fingers. "I know where the second key is." "What key?" she asked. "The hidden gate, where the old spirits enter. I heard them crying there one night." She followed him through the back path, past banana trees and thorny underbrush. Beneath a slab of stone was an ancient metal gate, rusted but groaning with breath. He reached for it, and it opened itself. Inside, Obi Udo was not a home. It was a wound. The floors creaked like bones. The walls wept water. Cobwebs hung like shrouds. At the heart of the house was a bed, and on that bed lay her father. His beard was tangled. His nails curled like claws. Flies danced on his eyelids. "Papa," she whispered. He opened his eyes. "So, a whisper of a man." But he smiled. "Ada M, you came." She wept. He reached for her. His fingers trembled, but he touched her cheek. "I kept the door open, inside, but they locked the world." Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from the corridor. Her uncle's voice roared. "Who let you in?" Madhu and his wife stormed in with villagers trailing behind. "This is trespass. You will be arrested," he screamed. But the villagers didn't speak. They saw Okonkwo's condition, and something shifted. "We brought this man home with drums and kola nuts," said Papa Chijiok. "Now he lies like a forgotten goat." The old women began to hum the morning song. Madhu's wife lunged at Funaná, but the crowd blocked her. Ejike arrived, face like thunder. He bellowed incantations, but the house groaned again. A wall cracked. Behind it was a hidden door. Funaná turned, pulled the latch, and it opened. Inside, photographs of her father with red marks on their faces. An altar made of his clothes. A calabash filled with coins and blood. On the wall, a packed scroll. Names written in charcoal. Hers was there, crossed out. He screamed. "You cursed him. You tried to erase me." Ejike's eyes widened. "You were never supposed to come back." Lightning cracked across the sky. The crocodiles had heard. Suddenly, her father began to convulse. His mouth foamed. His chest lifted, then fell. She ran to him, held his head. "Don't leave me." "Not now." But he was still. "No. No." The house groaned one last time, then fell silent. For a long moment all was still, until Okonkwo's fingers twitched. He opened his eyes. "They fed me to the river, but the river spat me out." And then, in a voice filled with fire, he said, "Bring me out of this grave." The villagers carried him out. The moment his feet touched the earth outside Obi Udo, a scream erupted from the house. Came from the walls, from the floors, from the cursed shrine. And the roof of Obi Udo collapsed. The house had eaten the sun, but now the sun devoured it in return. Madhu and Ejike ran, but shadows followed them. Something had awakened. The villagers carried Okonkwo to Papa Chijiok's hut. There, under the sacred Udala tree, they washed his body in palm wine and river herbs. The old women chanted songs older than Yam. But Funaná could not sleep. The packed scroll haunted her. It had her name, crossed out yet glowing faintly. She unfolded it under moonlight. One drop of her blood fell upon it, and the names began to burn. Suddenly the wind roared. A deep drumbeat echoed from the forest, not man-made but spirit-born. A voice whispered, "Come to the river's mouth." Alone. By dawn she was gone. She walked barefoot past rustling trees and crooked huts. The river-eyed lay still, too still. Not even the frogs dared speak. She stepped onto the water, and it held her. The current pulled her gently into its center, then downward. She didn't drown. She descended. Below, in a world of sapphire water and glowing bones, the crocodiles circled her in silence. A throne of shells and skulls emerged. On it sat Walla, the river mother, cloaked in hair made of snakes and a crown of pearls. "Daughter of the man who broke my silence," she hissed. "Why do you come uninvited?" "Because you were lied to," Funaná said, trembling. "My father did no wrong." Walla rose, towering like a storm. "Your blood was promised in exchange for your father's decay. Your uncles traded his strength for silence. You were to be forgotten." She raised her staff. The crocodiles bared their fangs. Funaná dropped to her knees. "Take me then, but let the truth be known." There was silence. Then a voice. A drumbeat. A whisper from the bones below. She remembers. She remembers. The crocodiles retreated. Walla lowered her staff. Very well. Then you must choose. Suffer the punishment your uncles deserve, or return and let them suffer it alone. Funaná clenched her fists. If I take their punishment, will my father be free forever? Yes. But you will carry a mark that no ocean can wash away. She nodded. Wallace smiled. Then you are your father's daughter. A crocodile bit her arm. She screamed. The wound bled black. But she did not fall. She rose. Then go, Wallace said. Tell your father the river returned what the land rejected. When Funaná awoke, she was on the shore. Her arm bore a silver scar shaped like a crocodile's eye. Her lips whispered in a voice that was no longer hers alone. When she returned, her father stood unaided. He looked at her arm. What did you give up? She smiled. Only what I never needed. But the air had shifted. The sky remained dark even at noon. That night, Ejike and Medu returned to the ruins of Obi Udo, looking for their secret shrine. They found it, but the pact scroll was gone. In its place was a drum. And a whisper. She took your debt, but the river still remembers your hands. Suddenly, crocodiles poured from the broken walls. And the screaming began. Funaná did not speak for 7 days. In that time, the villagers rebuilt a small shelter for her father beside the Udala tree. Birds began returning to the hill. Children no longer crossed the street in fear. But the river had changed her. At night, she could hear it breathing. When she slept, crocodiles whispered. Her arm pulsed with light during thunderstorms. The old women stopped calling her daughter. They began calling her Nwa Miri, the child of water. And her father, he watched in awe. Strength returned to his limbs, but there was a sadness in his eyes, for what he could never repay. You should have let them fall alone, he told her one morning. They were your brothers, she replied, and you loved them more than you should. He sighed. It was my blindness that paid your price. But Funaná shook her head. And it was your love that called me home. Far away, Ejike and Medu did not die. The river spared them, but it did not free them. Each night the wind took their sleep. Each morning blood ran from their noses. Their new mansion, the one built beside Obi Udo, began to rot. Walls sweated bile. Snakes crawled through cracks. Mirrors whispered secrets. No builder stayed. No pastor dared bless it. And then, the shrine returned. One morning they woke to find it in their living room. The same altar of bones and coins, rebuilt with nothing but their names on it. And the drum began to beat. 1 month later, the elders summoned Funaná. The shrine has returned, they said. But your name is still crossed out. What does it mean? It means the river accepted my blood, she said. But the debt is not yet paid. Paid by who? They asked. She looked toward the east. By those who still lie. That evening she went to the ruins of Obi Udo. The land was quiet. The mansion was now a grave of bricks. There, beside the old compound tree, she found a child playing with pebbles. Who are you? She asked. My name is Nana, the boy said. I live in the new house. But they don't see me. Who are your parents? He pointed to the rotting mansion. Uncle Ejike and Auntie Amaka. She blinked. You are their son? I don't think so, he said, smiling. They found me in the water. I've been waiting for you. She froze. Why me? Because the river said only you could carry the drum. That night, Nana brought her the drum, the one from the packed room. But it was different now. It pulsed. It breathed. And when she beat it once, lightning struck the ground. The ancestors are listening, he said. Funaná stood before the villagers at dawn. She beat the drum 3 times. The sky darkened. Let the truth be spoken. Let the river judge. One by one, villagers stepped forward. They confessed. Those who had lied. Those who had taken money. Those who had seen but said nothing. Even Auntie Amaka came, crawling on her knees. I burned his photos. I stole his keys. I called your name in shame, hoping you would never return. And now? Funaná asked. Tao, I cannot sleep. My child is sick. My breasts run dry. Funaná placed her hand on her head. Then may the river see your tears. Amaka fainted. But Ejike and Medu refused. They laughed when she came. You want a show, girl? You've always been dramatic. The river demands a final offering, she said. Medu spat. Let the river come then. I am not afraid. Funaná raised the drum. You should be. He struck it. And the ground split open. From the chasm rose a being not seen in generations. The crocodile with 3 heads. Its name was never spoken, only feared. Umugwumiri, the bane beneath. It sniffed the air. Then roared. The villagers fled. But Ifunanya stood still. They are yours, she whispered. Idike screamed. Medu tried to run. But their feet sank into the earth. The crocodile did not eat them. He watched them burn from the inside. Their bodies turned to ash. And the wind carried the ash into the river. Peace returned to Umuai Demai. Funaná left her father in the care of the village and returned to the land of eagles. But she left something behind. The drum. It hangs now in the village square. And every year on the night of the river moon, children gather to hear her story. They say the crocodiles still speak her name. They say the river never forgets. And they say, if your heart is pure and your blood is brave, the river will protect you. But if you betray your own, then remember, the river forgets nothing.